Well, good morning, YouTube. Arizona RE here. Just wanted to rap at you guys a little bit about my experiences on my little bike here, and just kind of throw a question out there to you. So to you guys that have more than one motorcycle, all right? And I'm not talking about the dirt bike you save for riding on the weekends, but to those of you guys that have two motorcycles, what happens when your favorite motorcycle is no longer your daily rider? So I'll go ahead and set this up for you here. Ooh. Ouch. When you drive your Suburban into a brick wall, you're going to have a bad time. Interesting. I'm just trying to imagine how this happened. They had to have gone right up on that handicap ramp at the edge of the curb and jumped in there because they didn't take out any light poles to get there. That's crazy. And there's no skid marks. Wow. Alright. No accounting for people's stupidity. So anyway, what happens when your daily rider is no longer your favorite bike? So, you know, getting back into motorcycle riding after I hadn't for such a long time, or had only been riding dirt bikes basically. And I'd ride them at work. They were an effective tool for getting around at work for a good many years, the dirt bikes were. So I'd gotten away from street riding, and getting back into it, the Enfield was one of the first things I sought. To me, they're kind of the perfect get back into it kind of bike. It's a 500cc, but it's a single. It's based off the old British design, so it's not like it's super powerful. You know, you think of a 500, you know, you get on a CBR, a 500 CBR 500R, that's a hell of a bike, man. And you're gonna hurt yourself getting on something like that if you hadn't ridden in a really long time or aren't familiar with it. So I kind of felt like this was a good bike, and I also like to turn a wrench. I like to fix things myself, and the maintenance level on this bike requires you to be pretty handy, so I enjoy that aspect of it too. But I've been beating it around for a little over a year as my daily rider, riding it back and forth to work almost every day. And I loved it. I loved it. Every single time I've gotten to ride this bike, I absolutely love it. But in wanting to preserve some miles on it and have a bike that's a little more practical and to have a bike that's a little more powerful, you guys know already about my Honda CTX purchase. And I went ahead and switched over to the CTX as my daily rider. And now this bike has sort of become my storm around the streets on the weekend rider. And, you know, nightclub hopper, bar hopper, whatever you want to call it. And that's fine. I'm all good with that. I love this bike. I don't think I'll ever give it up, no matter what else I get. But what I've found is that my mentality about it has changed. I almost look at riding this bike as a challenge, because it requires doing so many other fiddly little things. You know, you got to put the choke on, the kickstart process. I mean, I'm still infatuated and in love with the starting process of this bike, and I also derive great joy out of being able to kickstart this bike. But at the same time, you know, it doesn't have as much storage on board, so you can't carry as many tchotchkes with you. Stuff you probably don't need to be hauling around with you anyway, but you do because you can. And you know, it is a bit slower, and it does have some limitations. So I get to now where I'm thinking, oh hey, I want to go for a ride. And a lot of times if I'm thinking far away, I don't think about this bike anymore. I really only think about this bike when I'm going to do a short little bust around town. A little doodle, if you will. A little bimble. Bombing around town. So then that's my question to you guys then. Those of you that have two bikes or more, in the case of Sean, how does that work for you? I know when I look at other people's bike collections, you know, they have a bike for every purpose, right? They have the one that looks pretty and they like to cruise around. I guess that's kind of what this bike's purpose is. And then you also have the ones that maybe their second bike is a dual sport, so they can do a little bit of off-roading or green laning with it. So maybe your bikes serve a purpose. And you know, so if you've got more than one bike out there, tell us how you balance that, how you work that out. Because to me, I almost feel like I'm neglecting the Enfield in lieu of convenience and performance. But then again, I also feel like I'm preserving it. I'm not neglecting it as much as I'm preserving it, right? That's not a true classic, but you know what? At least when I get to ride it now, it's for joy, and it's not always for going to work. I don't know. Just an interesting series of thoughts. If you guys have thoughts on it, please, by all means, go ahead and comment. And once again, hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Hey, look at me, I get an arrow. These light sensors are getting so much better.